We're going to prove another divisibility statement, and we're going to use math induction to prove that 7 raised to 2n minus 3 times 5 raised to n plus 2 is divisible by 12 for any non-negative integer n. Sa mga previous video natin, ang ginagamit natin ay positive integer n, but this time it's non-negative integer n. So instead of starting with 1, we're going to start with 0. Katulad pa rin ng process ng pag-prove natin, we have two parts. For part 1, we're going to verify for n equals 0 instead of 1. So it will become 7 raised to 2 times 0 minus 3 times 5 raised to 0 plus 2 is equivalent to 7 raised to 0, it's 1, minus 3 times 1, it's 3, plus 2. So it will become 1 minus 3, that's negative 2, plus 2, that's 0. 0 is divisible by 12. Is divisible by 12. And then, for part 2, we're going to assume, that 7 raised to 2k minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 2 for some non-negative integer k is divisible by 12. Is divisible by 12 for some non-negative integer k. And then we would like to prove that we're going to prove that upon assuming that's true for k, then we want to prove that it's also true for k plus 1. So we have 7 raised to 2 times k plus 1. So pinalitan ko yung k, ginawa ko siyang k plus 1 minus 3 times, this will become 5 raised to k plus 1 plus 2 is also divisible by 12. Okay, now let's work on showing that this is also divisible by 12. I'm just going to copy this. We have 7 raised to 2 times k plus 1 minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 1 plus 2. And I can distribute this. Magiging 7 raised to 2k plus 2 minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 1 plus 2. And I can write this as 7 squared times 7 raised to 2k. Ano ba? Kasi same base and then we add the exponent. So, babalik lang siya dito. Minus 3 times this one, 5 raised to k plus 1. I can write that as negative 3 times 5 times 5 raised to k. Kasi this is 5 raised to 1. So, 5 raised to k plus 1. Pag minultiply mo ulit, plus 2. And this one is 49 times 7 raised to 2k minus, this is 15. 3 times 5, it's 15 times 5 raised to k plus 2. Okay. Actually, ang goal natin for divisibility is to show that this is divisible by 12. Pero ang technique actually ay palabasin from this expression over here. Kailangan natin na mapalabas na itong part na to sa what's this inductive hypothesis, na kailangan mapakita natin na 7 raised to 2k minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 2. Mapalabas natin siya dito. And then, yung maiiwan, actually, magugulat kayo na divisible din yan by 12. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin, 49 can be expressed as 48 plus 1. Bakit natin gagawin ganon? Kasi, yung 48 kasi is divisible by 12. Okay? So, I can express this as 48 plus 1. So, 49 and express that as 48 plus 1 times 7 raised to 2k. Now, 15, ang kapartner kasi dito is negative 3. So, pwedeng paghiwalayan si negative 3 at saka si negative 3 at si negative 12. So, can we write this as negative 3 times 5 raised to k minus 12 times 5 raised to k plus 2. So, dito, negative 3 minus 12. So, babalik ka lang dito sa kabilang to. And this one, so, yan. And plus 2. So, I can distribute 7 raised to 2k here. So, it will become 48 times 7 raised to 2k plus 7 raised to 2k minus 3 times 5 raised to k minus 12 times 5 raised to k plus 2. And if you'll notice, ito, tsaka ito. Pagsama-samahin natin sila. So, we'll have 7 raised to 2k minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 2 plus 48 times 7 raised to 2k minus 12 times 5 raised to k. And this one can factor out 12. So, we have 7 raised to 2k minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 2 plus 12 times 4. 4 times 7 raised to 2k minus 5 raised to k. Okay? So this one is divisible by 12 by the inductive hypothesis. Tama? It's divisible by 12. Kamukha lang siya nito. So, this is divisible by 12. Isulat ko lang ganito, ha? This is divisible by 12. And clearly, this one, since may factor siya na 12, this is also divisible by 12. Also, divisible by 12. So, kung divisible na to by 12 and this one is also divisible by 12, pag pinagsama to, divisible din yun by 12. So, therefore, 7 raised to 2k plus 1, diba? Ito lang naman ay, ito yung pinanggalingan niya. Okay? So, therefore, kung divisible to by 12, ito divisible by 12, ang pinanggalingan niya is 7 raised to 2 times k plus 1 minus 3 times 5 raised to k plus 1 plus 2. Ito, naging ganito siya, is divisible by 12. So, napakita na natin that kung i-assume natin na divisible siya by, pag sinubstitute yung k is divisible by 12 and then ma-prove natin that kapag k plus 1 na yung substitute sa n, it's also divisible by 12 and we're successful in doing it. Therefore, by the principle of math induction, by the principle of math induction, 7 raised to 2n minus 3 times 5 raised to n plus 2 is divisible. It's divisible by 12 for any non-negative integer n, and that's